So, yesterday, Notre Dame not destroyed. They beat Uconn relatively comfortably. On the scoreboard at times it was close, but Notre Dame led basically from buzzer to buzzer. It was a very, very, it was a close, not close game. It was a close game that they were fully in control. But, let's also listen to how Geno Auriemma reacted to the end of the game. And this one's really weird in my opinion. This was really weird. And if you guys agree, subscribe. We're trying to hit 40,050 by the end of the day. But so let's take a listen right here.
Well, I mean, we had it. Well, we cut it to 2 at the end of the third quarter, and I thought we were in pretty good shape, and we gave up an open 3 at the end there that really kind of hurt us. But I think the overriding theme in the game was our inability to get enough other people to contribute in our offense, other than Paige having to do the way Paige had to do it. So I think for us going forward, we need more contributions from more people, because they get a lot of contributions from a lot of people, So we need to be able to do that, And obviously, if AZ was one of those people that we could throw it to, maybe that changes things, but it shouldn't be the answer. I mean, if you're playing at Connecticut, you have to be that kind of kid that can make an impact in a game like this.
So the overriding theme was to get other people to contribute other than Paige. And he was talking about how basically, he's also talked about how Paige was trying to overdo some stuff. That how she was trying to do too much. I want to see if I can find a clip of that right here. But he was talking about Paige Bueckers and that she needed to, basically that she needed to, it had to stop just being her isolation, some of the tough shots she was taking. And I'm like, genuinely? He had called Paige too passive, and we watched the game. Paige Bueckers was passive. Paige was passive. And I think there is, the reality of the situation is, Paige has been passive. And Geno Auriemma is there talking about we need other people in the offense to do more. And that is true. That is the truth. And I mean that. That is the truth. But imagine if after the championship game last year, if Lisa Bluder came out and said, it was just Caitlin 1v5, we needed more people. Or after they lost to LSU, we needed more than just Caitlin out there. Imagine if anyone else had said that. It would be an issue. Geno Auriemma gets a pass because it's Uconn. He threw the whole team under the bus. And he regularly does it. Maybe stop recruiting slow-footed players that can't do anything off the bounce and aren't great defenders either. He's recruiting. Yeah, he's recruiting like it's 2010. The big reason, even though, what's her name? AZ Foot was out injured. Olivia Miles was hurt as well. That wouldn't have been a close game if Olivia Miles was moving properly. And, they're struggling. They're talking, he's talking about playing from a deficit. He was talking as well about how teams always give Uconn their best. And it's you're Uconn. You're Uconn. But, it says here, why did you keep forcing them? Paige was getting to the basket at will, and she didn't even touch it half the time as you're running offense through ice. Exactly. That's the exact situation. You're saying, more people other than Paige Bueckers need to step up. But, you're telling Paige, go stand in that corner. And Paige is already naturally passive. I'm not even going to say unselfish, because I think she is an unselfish player, but you can be unselfish and aggressive. I don't think Hannah Hidalgo is a selfish player. I don't think Caitlin Clark's a selfish player. But they are literally the, they play with a motor. They play with a high motor, and Paige Bueckers is she's the best piece of the system. But if you want to be a star, you have to be the engine. You have to be the engine Otherwise, you're just become another player. And Geno Auriemma is, when Paige Bueckers has a decent game, I'm not going to say great game, she has a decent game. She had an efficient game because she's not scared. Like, the reason she's so efficient is because she's scared to take bad shots. You're blaming everybody else, well, these other players need to make an impact on the game. When you come to Connecticut, you have to make an impact on the game. But, like, you have to make an impact in the game in your Connecticut. It's like, maybe that's a problem with your recruiting. Because when was the last time you won? 2016? You've still had all the top recruits, and 2016 was the last time you won a title. Since you have won a title, Stanford have won one, Notre Dame have won one, Baylor have won one. South Carolina have won quite a few. Did South Carolina win 17? I think, because I know Asia has won. South Carolina have won quite a few. LSU have won. Who else has won? Who won in 2020? Didn't happen in 2020. Okay, but yeah, there's been a lot of different teams have won since you. And that's the thing with Geno's recruiting, with the system. Everything is just backwards. It is so backwards with him. And he'll find something to throw under the bus. Like when they were losing to, when they're just about beating Holy Cross, we have Geno Auriemma basically saying, Paige Bueckers Paige is just standing there. When she doesn't have the ball in her hand, she doesn't like to move. So we can just give her the ball and let her ISO. And then we saw that yesterday when Paige Bueckers obviously doesn't have the ball in her hand. She's struggling, being denied by Sonia Citron. And then all of a sudden, you've now got Paige Bueckers, instead of finding ways to get her the ball, using her as a screener, using the denial to have her curl off some cuts, go back doors a couple of times. You have her standing in the corner. So yeah, Paige calling out, or Geno Auriemma calling out Paige for being too passive, and now calling out throwing his entire team under the bus. That's not good coaching. And you can tell me all about how Geno Auriemma's won all these rings. Oh wow, he had Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi on the same college team. Wow, he won a ring. He had Maya Moore, Steph Dolson. Who did they even have in those Maya Moore teams? But they were stacked. And then you had, what's her name? You had Stewie with Gabby Williams, with Fee, with Katie Lou. You had all of these W players, and you won titles with them. Great. Since Dawn Staley started bringing players to South Carolina, you've won nothing. Not only that, you've made 2022 they made it, and was it 2 championship games? It's either 1 or 2 championship games they've made since 2016. So either less or the same as Iowa. So don't hit me with Geno Auriemma, him calling out these players publicly. Geno Auriemma knows what he's doing, because he clearly doesn't. He's the most stacked teams in the nation. He's won nothing in a decade.